everyone, this is Paula with Close to My Heart. Now I'm coming to you today to talk a little bit about our stamp of the month for August. It's called Floral Celebration. It's a fantastic little stamp and it is only available during the month of August, which makes it a bit exclusive. So what we've got in this one is we've got a whole heap of different sized flowers. So we've got some solid build flowers, we've got some outlines, and then we've also got some nice foliage, some cute little leaves and little sprigs that you can put around your flowers, and we've got some quite fun doodling that can look a little bit like grass along the bottom. And amongst all that, we have two very good titles. We've got the title Sending Smiles, which is obviously a very generic card you could use, and then you've got the Celebrating You, which again could be very nice for a greeting card but also is going to work really well in scrapbooking. So what I want to talk to you today about is how you can use this style of stamp, one that's got lots of solids and open stamps in it, for background stamping. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a little bit of a background stamped page here in front of us. Now, the way I chose the colours for this stamping was that I went to our Love of Colour book, guidebook, and I chose my favourite sort of pretty colour of lilac as the base. So I went in here, I looked at the different colour options, and it suggested over here to use lilac with Sweet Leaf, Peach and Lagoon. Now those are not four colours I would naturally have thought of putting together, but hey, I think when you look at the end result, it does look rather sweet, and the colours do work really well together. So to do random stamping, there's always a little bit of a trick, okay? So sometimes when you try to random stamp, it becomes very orderly and everything seems to be a bit lined up. So the little trick that I have is to think of the order of three, or the, sort of like a bit of an offset triangle. So I've got a little bit of scrap paper here. We're just going to random stamp this with those same colours out here. So I'll bring out the colours that we used, and I'm going to choose from the stamp set some of the smaller icons. So we're looking at the small flowers and the small foliage, and I'm not using any sentiments at the moment in this background stamp. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is use some of the larger ones that I intend to use. So I'll go for my big long foliage, which is a little leafy sprig, and I'm just going to do a few of these on the page in a few different places just to sort of fill in some space. Now we're going to get our cute little flower, and this is probably the largest flower we're going to use on this page, which is this one here with a little bit of a detail to it, and I'm going to use that with the lilacs, and that's my main colour emphasis. So I do my first stamp, and then I'm going to do offset that and create the look of a triangle. So we've got two here, so I'm going to put a third one to finish that triangle off, but it's not going to be a symmetrical triangle, it's going to be slightly offset. So that's my three that make a triangle. Then I'm going to take two of them and make a new triangle. And once again, it's going to be a bit offset, and I quite like sometimes to go off the page so that you only have a bit of the pattern showing. Now we'll look at these two and make a new little triangle here. And then we could look at those two and create a triangle here. These two and create a triangle coming off down here. And I'll just fill in this little space up there. Okay, then we have got some more foliage, and I'm going to use this quite large leaf, and I'm going to use quite a bold colour with this one. So I'm just going to do a few of them. Now, this is Lagoon, and so again I'm going to go a little bit off, and I will be also looking at using odd numbers. So I could stop there, or I might just put on two more. So I'm just going to put another one there, and we'll have a little bit of something happening up that corner. So that's that one done too. Now in that colour, I also quite like this little flower. Now this flower is rather cute. It's probably my favourite out of the smaller flowers because it's kind of got quite a cute little doodling finish to it. It's as though there's a double line happening, and I really, really like that. It's quite cute. So I'm just going to be popping those in. So I've done actually a really large triangle with that one, but I might just bring these in together, and we'll pop a little one here. Those two together, we can have one coming off up here. These two, I'm just going to do a triangle up this way, and maybe I'll just tuck another little one in coming off over there. That gives us an odd number. Okay, so now what have we got left? We've got a little sprig that's a little bit more filled in, which I'm going to use. So I'm going to go back to my green, my Sweet Leaf, but because it's a more blocky looking stamp, it just gives a little bit more of that green coming through than what the first one was showing us. So I quite like that. And once again, I'm just going to be doing an odd number of these. A little bit over here. That's cute. And yes, we've still got the last colour, which is peach, to finish off. So there are two little solid flowers on here, very similar in nature, and I'm going to use both sizes to do the peach on here. So there's one triangle done, another triangle over here, these two together, and I'm going to do a triangle inside that, those two together, and we'll do a triangle up there, and then I'll just do one more for good luck to go off the page. And now I'll switch over to the cute little one. So we've got a bit more peach showing up through here. There we go. So there is some random stamping. Now, the background it's created is really lovely, and you've created your own look from the stamp set with colours that are going to tie in with what you're crafting. So it might work with the theme of the celebration that you're making a card for, or it might work obviously with the photos you're going to use on your scrapbooking page. Now, just one little thing to point to note here, I'm using my all-purpose mat, and I purposefully did that over the top of my Versamat, which is our black measuring mat. On the back side of our black measuring mat is a spongy side, and that's good for stamping. But by putting the all-purpose mat over the top, I can now just wipe off any excess ink that came when I overlapped and went off the edges. And then I always have just a little dry cloth nearby too, just to make sure that it's nice and dry to carry on working. So that's our first little background stamp. Now, what could I do with that? Obviously, it could be a really nice piece on your page. It could be maybe at the top with a little bit of a dovetail coming down one side to anchor your title off. It could go behind, run along behind a couple of photos in the middle of your page, or just a big long border strip on either side. So you can do that style of thing very simply with your background stamping. You can also get out all your different thin cuts and cut some lovely shapes with that piece. So in here, what are some of the things I would look at? I've definitely the hearts. They're just going to look gorgeous with that little floral background, your stitched hearts. Circles, we've got stars. All those standard shapes are going to go really well. Our brackets, another really nice idea to fill in a spot. Little tags to tuck out behind some of the photos. There's just so many. This cute little, it's kind of like a little name tag, I guess you'd call it. That came with one of our sets. Again, that would look really good. Some more dovetailing pieces. Your stitched squares and rectangles. And of course, we've got our two alphabets that we've got currently. So I actually went away and I made a little title out of the strip that I'd previously prepared, and I cut out the word happy. So obviously I could use this piece with a few little pieces, I didn't save them actually, or I could use the actual cut out letters on a title, as a title on a page. So don't they look rather sweet? It's just got a little bit more interest than a plain solid cardstock. So let's put it together as a layout. So I'll just grab the backing sheet. And I've stuck those colours that we looked at from the book. I've used as a background the sweet leaf, and I've brought in some of our lilac, the beautiful lilac, and the lagoon, and I've also brought in a little bit of mix-in paper just to add a little bit of dimension, a bit of colour. Now I pre-cut in half that big sheet that I'd pre-prepared, and that's going to go down the side over here, and you can see it just instantly gives a real lift to that layout. Then I have got some photos matted with the lagoon to balance the lagoon that I'd put on here. And I've also got that lovely title, Happy, to put up the top. So you can see how quickly and easily I've been able to construct a bit of a layout, holding 4 photos of different sizes, with that lovely background stamping. Now in the stamp set itself, obviously with those large flowers, they are ideal for stamping on their own and fussy cutting out, and you can create a nice little bunch of flowers to sort of go in there as an embellishment. So that's one idea for background stamping that you might like to try sometime today. Now a few other quick ideas for you. The next one, I've moved to a much bolder look. So I've taken again white cardstock as my base, but I've picked up some of the colours that are in our latest promotion called Happiest Place, I think. So there's lagoons, there's, what's that one, the red, I've actually used canary, but it is lemonade on their version, and I've used some black and some glacier. Candy apple, that was the red I was trying to think of. Okay, so that's a really lovely background. You can see straight away with a couple of photos clustered on here, you've got a really nice fun page. Now, I'm actually using this to extend one of my Cut Above kit pages that I put together from the Happiest Place Cut Above kit range. So it's this one here, which if you've created any of them, you'll know there's a whole heap of really delightful pages in this lot. Now, I really love this, but it is to go in my daughter's album, and she's got a 12 by 12 album. So I'm literally just going to map that with a nice thin black, and I'm going to pop that over the top of this just to have my background stamping sort of peeping out on the sides with those colors that tie in, and it just looks really fantastic. So that's another quick and easy way of extending your lovely pages if you're going into a bigger album than what the original page was intended for. Now, some other ideas. This idea actually came from another Kiwi consultant, which I just noticed online, so I hope she doesn't mind that I'm showing it to you here, and it's Lara Moss. She put together this idea of clustering a border frame using the stamp of the month, and I absolutely love these teals together with the black outline. So the flowers used on this one, instead of going for the smaller flowers, we've gone for the larger solid flower and the larger open flower, and that's a really cool. I love that look. So that's just gorgeous. So we can, from that, then cluster some photos in the center, and you've got a really nice framed page. To double up that page, I've gone ahead and stamped, background stamped just on the edge of this other piece, and I'm going to pop my little page on top like this, so that it's a nice solid double pager. Really simple look, but just so elegant and beautiful. I absolutely love those colors together, and I think that works beautifully. Now, keeping with those colors, I've also tried out our scrapbooking challenge for the day, and that was to create those 3 strips along the side. Let's move those out of the way. So what I have done is the same color scheme as what I just showed you with the previous layout with your lagoons and your, this time actually I've used peacock as my darker open flower. And I did that on the top strips. Then the second strips I have used some mix-in paper, which just ties in beautifully. And then in the bottom one, I've actually gone and clear embossed, heat embossed those lovely solid flowers, and then just stamped a few of the open flowers. I don't know if you can see that shine on there, but it looks really lovely in real life. Quite an ombre effect. And of course I have used our Summer Vibes background paper and some shimmer brushes just to add a bit of sparkle and a really nice background texture to the page. So that was my take on that fun scrapbook challenge that we've got going for you. And I also did the card challenge using the same color schemes. I was just really using up all my off scraps from that layout, and you can see here it's got just a sort of a pre-made background piece that I've used as that strip using our stamp of the month. So hey, I hope I've given you a bit of inspiration. Please do get your hands on the stamp of the month this month. I think it's going to be one that I will keep using. It's got lovely little sayings, but it's just the right sized elements in there to do this really fun background stamping. Okay, thanks for listening. I hope you got a few tips, and I look forward to seeing your artwork.